Hello, thanks for being in a new video. This time I have unboxing of the Galaxy Z Fold7. Let's get started. We're in front of Samsung's latest foldable, which comes with a high price. It's costlier this generation, but the base version is now 512 gigabytes. Its launch price is 48,999 pesos, but during pre-sale it's 45,999 pesos, still quite high. Although in the description, I'll provide you with a coupon that you can use at Samsung Mexico, which will allow you to get an additional 10% off. Plus, they also multiply your rewards points by 5, enabling you to use them later to purchase other items. So, in that regard, the experience is at least a bit better if you make use of this coupon. But enough about prices and promotions. What do you say we go ahead and take this cell phone out of its box so we can get to know it better and check out its specifications? Alright, so first, we're going to carefully remove this part over here, and then we'll also take off the seal on the top. Let's see, I encountered a little bit of difficulty there for a moment, but it's all good now. We've managed to take off the top seal, and now we're done with that step. Next, we're going to gently take the device out of its box, and here it is, right in front of us, in this stunning blue version, which is actually the flagship color. So, let's go ahead and remove it from the packaging. It's clear that the phone has made some significant progress, especially in terms of its design. We'll discuss it shortly, in case you haven't caught all the details yet. But first, how about we peel off these plastics to power up the phone, and then check out what else is inside the box. So let's carefully remove the plastic from this screen, and then from the main screen, which is the internal screen. Okay, let's finally power this phone on and take a look at what else we find in the box. The reality is that it appears there won't be a lot of content. Take note that this side of the box doesn't have any accessories or anything like that anymore. However, at least the other side of the box seems like it might have a bit more content, but don't expect too much. Initially, we come across this small box or envelope, depending on how you want to view it. Honestly, I believe it will only contain the cable and nothing else. In the best case scenario, let's take a look and see if it doesn't. Even the cable isn't included anymore, but let's find out. Here it is. It appears that it does. Let me check which direction is the easier way. There it is. Watch closely. We have these super simplified quick start guides, a relatively short USB-C to USB-C cable, and the key to remove the tray. That's all. No charger, no case, and definitely no headphones. This is what's expected within Samsung devices now. It's not that we particularly like it, but we've gotten accustomed to Samsung boxes being like this. Very straightforward and simple. However, if you're interested in getting the 25 watts charger, I've included another coupon down below in the description. You can use this coupon when you're purchasing this device. I'll place it in Samsung Mexico, and this way they will also send you the 25 watts charger. This means you will have a bit more of an unboxing experience than I had, because honestly, the contents of the box here are finished. So at this point, it's time to put a little more focus and attention on the phone. We already have the device set up over here, so let's take a moment to get to know its specifications in a quick manner and learn about some of its new features. The most important evolution would be its thickness, as it is now 8.9 millimeter. It is incredibly thin, almost the same as a traditional format device. Additionally, it weighs no more than 215G, making it even lighter than other traditional format cell phones. Undoubtedly, that's a major feat. When this device is unfolded, it will have a thickness of 4.2 millimeters. Even though it's a thinner phone, the ultra-thin glass, which is the flexible glass layer inside, is now thicker. As a result, the crease area is much less visible. While it's still noticeable under certain lighting angles, overall it has been concealed more effectively, so when the screen is on, believe me, you really won't notice it at all. Moreover, it features an innovative hinge design that ensures the screen is slightly more recessed, reducing the pressure in the fold area. On the exterior, you'll discover Gorilla Glass Ceramic 2, and the back is equipped with Gorilla Glass Victus 2. To enhance its durability, it also includes IP48 resistance. So it resists water, however, it doesn't resist very fine dust. It can resist some dust particles, but even the device itself, when you're setting it up, provides you with a warning message. Note, it keeps the warning that the internal screen remains delicate, meaning that pressing too hard with your fingernail could leave marks on it. It advises caution to ensure no objects are present when folding the cell phone. Additionally, it indicates that the phone isn't dust resistant, so you should be cautious with sand and similar elements. It's also water resistant, but only to fresh water, and it warns not to remove the protective cover from this screen. They additionally confirm that the device is equipped with magnets. So you must ensure it's kept away from devices that could be impacted by magnetism, similar to the precautions taken with other foldables. The external screen now measures 6.5 inches diagonally, featuring a 21:9 aspect ratio, making it wider compared to the previous generation. It resembles a traditional device more closely, although it remains slightly narrower than typical devices. However, the difference is not as pronounced as before. We're discussing a 2x dynamic AMOLED display with full HD resolution, a refresh rate ranging from 1 to as high as 120 Hz. This means it will be a display of very good quality. Now, focusing on the internal part, the diagonal has been extended to 8 inches. In this instance, we are discussing a dynamic AMOLED 2X panel, which also features an update rate ranging from 1 to 120 Hz. This particular model comes with a resolution of 2184 by 1968 pixels. Therefore, we are referring to a device that is larger than the previous generation, offering more screen space. But it's thinner and lighter, which is clearly a very positive evolution. However, now it no longer supports the S Pen. And this is really terrible news. We absolutely didn't like that decision at all. Of course, the device features stereo sound with speakers on the bottom and top, plus 2 front cameras, both at 10 megapixels. The internal front camera isn't under the screen, and it improved from the last generation's 4 megapixels, enhancing resolution and more, but also in its width, because now it provides us with a 100-degree angle. However, neither the internal nor the external cameras have autofocus, which means they are still not very advanced. I would certainly like the external front camera at the very least to improve its level. In this situation, they remain quite simple. In fact, here you are seeing the preview of how it looks before and after taking the picture with this front camera. It definitely does a good job of backlighting, although the preview is still not optimized. But hey, you know you can take pictures of yourself as well as the front camera. With this selfie mode, you can easily use the main camera system to take pictures of yourself. Here, you are also able to see a comparative view of both the preview and the actual photograph. In fact, in this situation, the preview is quite well optimized by utilizing the main camera. And of course, with both the ultra-wide camera and the main camera, the selfies will be of excellent quality. In this case, the ultra-wide camera has been upgraded because it now has autofocus, although it maintains its 12 megapixels in resolution with f2.2 aperture. Then there is the main camera that has been upgraded to 200 megapixels with f1.7 aperture, autofocus, and optical stabilization. And finally, the telephoto camera remains unchanged with a 3x optical zoom and a 10 megapixel sensor featuring an f2.4 aperture. It's crucial to enhance this camera. Here are some sample photos you're viewing the ultra-wide camera, which truly shows a high level of detail and utilizes its sensor excellently. Then, you see the 200 megapixel main camera, although in automatic mode the photos are 12 megapixels, yet they genuinely look great. Next, you are examining the photo taken with 2x digital zoom. It appears to maintain the optical quality quite well, and the details look impressive. Following that, you're viewing the photo with 3x optical zoom, which certainly looks excellent, especially under these very well lit conditions. You are currently looking at the image below with a 5x zoom, where I believe you can still observe excellent image quality. At this moment, you are viewing the 10x digital zoom photography. I would say this is the maximum point where the device still maintains a very good level of detail. However, the device is capable of going even further. Here you can see the results with 20x and finally with 30x. This is typically the maximum zoom you would use in everyday life. But unlike the Galaxy S25 Ultra, in this particular case, it does not manage to maintain both. 30x detail is offered, so I would suggest that 10x is the maximum zoom that maintains good quality on this device. It still falls significantly short in the zoom department. This will certainly be one of the main criticisms of this device, and where it will likely be outdone by other folding competitors. The device is capable of recording video in 4K, and even in 4K at 60 frames per second, which is exactly what you're viewing right now. Honestly, the video recording quality on this device looks excellent. Even when zooming, there's a noticeable smooth and comfortable transition. In this instance, it allows us to achieve up to 12x digital zoom, and to be honest, it looks quite good. It maintains a consistent quality across the 3 cameras, at least enough to ensure a good user experience. It's important to note that the stabilization is effective with the ultra-wide camera, the main camera, and even the telephoto camera, all showing good stabilization. I want to remind you that now with the autofocus feature on the ultra-wide camera, you actually get the added benefit of macro video. Also, let me remind you that you can switch to the front camera without interrupting the video recording, and honestly, the front camera records pretty well too. The battery is 4,400 mAh. The capacity remains the same as the previous generation, but now, due to European regulations, we know that this battery can handle up to 2,000 charge cycles before its capacity degrades to 80%. To give you an idea, the most advanced batteries, the same is true of the 2,000 charge cycles that we currently see in cell phones, which have reached 1,600 charge cycles. For some reason, Samsung has not boasted it officially in the presentation, but I insist, thanks to European regulations, we have been able to know the good durability that this battery will have, so it does not have an extraordinary capacity as some other devices, but at least it seems that it will have a good lifespan. It supports charging through a 25W cable, 15 watts wireless, and it also includes reverse wireless charging. So in this regard, I believe it meets what you would expect from a flagship device in terms of functionality. However, when it comes to charging power, it might fall a bit short. Let me know in the comments if you can overlook the fact that it doesn't have a high charging power, especially since it offers significant durability reaching up to 2,000 charge cycles. This device comes with one UI 8 and Android 16 factory. This is excellent news and obviously has the most advanced features of both Samsung and Google. Something that I really liked is that this generation has already introduces an additional behavior selector when folding the phone. For instance, you might be using an app with the phone open, and when you fold it, you have the option to slide it up and keep using the app you had open. This is something we had previously observed in Oppo, for example, and I had mentioned that it would be a fantastic feature for Samsung to add. At last, they have chosen to include it. In this particular case, the device is equipped with 12 gigabytes of RAM memory, and I personally own the 200 version. Gigabyte of storage, although in Mexico the most basic version is the 512 gigabyte, and there is also a 1 terabyte option available. Finally, the processor is the Snapdragon 8 Elite for Galaxy, which, if you want to get an idea of its performance, here are the results with Geekbench 6. Note that it obtained 2,485 points in single core, 9,460 points in multi-core. It is really very powerful, and even in Antutu it exceeded by far the 2 million points, reaching 81,33,898. It is evident that this is going to be an exceptionally powerful device. So for the moment, please share your thoughts and comments about it. We will be releasing a comprehensive review shortly. For now, this has merely been an unboxing and a brief overview of its specifications. I truly hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you did, remember that you can let us know. We look forward to seeing you again next time.